So, well, first of all, thank you, Carrie and John, NNBA, for setting this up. We really appreciate the efforts to connect with our customers. And thanks for everyone for joining us today. I know your time is valuable, so we'll get right to it. First of all, I'm going to show a short video. It's very short, and it just kind of highlights some of the programs that we're offering. And then we're going to follow that with a slideshow of some of the new plant selections that we have for this year. And then finally, we're going to wrap up. I just want to go through our website and kind of give you some tips on using the website. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm going to leave time to address those at the end. And without further ado, let me see if I can figure out how to share our video. So here we go.
We have increased new plants in every category. Let's take a look together at some of the highlights. Edibles were the gateway plants for many looking to alleviate fears of food shortages and for something to occupy their time while isolating at home. Surveys strongly suggest these first-time gardeners plan on not only repeating, but increasing their efforts for this year. T&L also jumped into the vegetable bandwagon last year. For 2021, you will see a fine-tuned program offering packs beginning in late March, moving into 4-inch pots for April, and by the beginning of summer, we will have select 1 gallons to offer. Our collection includes all the veggies you would normally expect, as well as more unusual but highly sought-after selections. We grow our edibles following all organic principles, which means no synthetic chemicals will be applied during their time at T&L. Our popular herb program is now 3 years old and growing to include more varieties than ever. Also, in our edibles category, you will find 2 new rhubarb and new figs, including a sweet dwarf, perfect for containers. Our berry collection has seen an influx of new listings. More raspberries, more blueberries, gooseberry, loganberry, lingonberry, and now honeyberries. New strawberries include more ever-bearing types, including a couple more pine berries, a new June-bearing strawberry called raspberry that has hints of raspberry in the flavor. And for those like me who don't like to bend over to pick their fruit, strawberry baskets will be available this summer. Succulents also continue to be a popular category. They're easy to grow, and their diversity means you can't buy just one. We continue to add more varieties, offering exciting foliage, color, and texture. Have you noticed a surging interest in cacti? It has been said they are not your grandma's succulent. They're coming your way in 2-inch and 4-inch sizes and looking sharp. The T&L trial program allows us to evaluate the suitability of plants for gardens in the Pacific Northwest. Trial plants may be new to the market, new to us, or simply allow us to further evaluate a particular genus to find the best and longest flowering, the best habit and vigor, and so on. This year, we will conduct many new trials, and especially so in our court program. We love quartz. They are a great value for our garden centers, landscapers, and the end consumer. For garden centers, they offer the opportunity for quick turns and a small amount of table space. For everyone, the sturdy root mass allows for success when planted in the landscape, but where a budget may call for a certain amount of gallons, more quartz can be purchased, or more variety, especially important when assembling mixed patio pots. Look for new cultivars of our most popular plants: echinacea, salvia, lavender, dianthus. We broaden the selection of aquilegia, coreopsis, pulmonaria, veronica, and we're reviving our coprosma program. On the opposite side of the size scale, we have found a growing demand for those looking for instant gratification. Decopots and 2-gallon perennials offer a high-impact splash of color.
Hey, Carolyn, we lost your audio. I think you muted yourself.
Annuals for a listing of all the new
Can you hear?
dahlias and
Yeah,
freesia
we're good now.
along with winners of our previous helianthus trials. Select shrubs and trees to find new listings such as Daphne, Perfume Princess. We invite you to explore our website and to work with your sales rep to find out more and to make 2021 the best year yet.
Okay, so we're good to go. So Fragaria raspberry, these are actually in stock as of last night. This is a new strawberry that will taste a little bit like a strawberry, but also a little bit like a raspberry. It has that combination. This is a June bearing variety. It does great in containers. And I kind of have a question for my customers. And in terms of this type of thing, do you consider this a novelty, or is this something that you really, is this drawing people because it's a little bit different? How are you featuring these things at your garden center? That would be helpful for us. There is the novelty aspect of a lot of these new fruits. When we have raspberries, we have a vaccinium that also has some raspberry taste to it. But you know, it comes down to, we also want these plants to perform well. So those are the things that we're looking at, but we're also looking at feedback from our customers. Another new berry that we have is honeyberry, the Lonicera indigo gem and indigo treat. And these are very similar. If you look at it, it's kind of like an elongated blueberry. The University of Saskatchewan came up with these two cultivars, and the University of Saskatchewan is really the world leader in developing Haskell's or these honeyberries. They're very easy to grow. They're packed with antioxidants, vitamins. So they're one of those super fruits. And they're very popular in the Midwest and even in Canada. And we're right now just kind of seeing a little bit more increase in popularity for our area. So this is indigo treat right here. You do need two varieties for pollination. So indigo treat and indigo gem will pollinate each other. This is a little lingonberry, vaccinium red candy. And look at the number of berries on this thing. It is just loaded. I had somebody remark last week, it's like, oh yeah, I know lingonberries. Every time I go to IKEA, I have that lingonberry jam on my pancakes or whatever. So lingonberries, the fruit is small, but it is popular in jams and pies. And this particular variety is extremely profuse in the number of berries that it produces. We did have some quarts in just a few weeks ago, and they went out the door like that. They were just absolutely loaded. So aside from even their edible characteristics, the ornamental value is really, really strong. You will see that we will have gallons later in the year. So this one is a real winner. Ficus Little Ruby, figs. So I say here that Denny is the king of hardy figs in Washington, and he truly is. I mean, this man loves his figs. He was responsible for the introduction of Ficus olympian, which is really the hardiest fig that we have for our area. And he worked very hard to develop this one. Little Ruby is a true dwarf fig. But unlike some dwarfs, you know, sometimes when you dwarf a plant, everything is dwarf. And in this, the fruit is still a good sized fruit. And most importantly, you're going to get a large amount of fruit. So it's not like you have a little plant with just one or two figs on it. It's going to be a heavy producer. For those of you on the eastern part of the state where you're like, well, we can't really grow figs, you can grow this one because you can grow it indoors. You can bonsai it, or you could just grow in a large container, and it will, as long as it has a sunny location, it will do well for you. We had a few of these last fall and they just flew off the shelves. It's a really popular thing. Everybody wants to get into edibles, and having things that are in a smaller footprint helps all of us. So we mentioned in the slideshow succulents, and nobody can discount the popularity of these. I just chose one to show today. This is Sedivaria Pink Ruby, and it's a cross between a sedum and an echeveria. The color in that is just super outstanding. You're going to find that the color is best from fall to spring. A lot of succulents really will show the best color when they're a little bit stressed out. Stressed due to water, to light, to temperature. Those types of things tend to bring out that bold color. It doesn't mean that the plant is freaking out. It's just those stress factors do bring out the color. So it's just one of very many succulents that we have to offer, and I just think it's pretty. Aruncus fairy hair. Aruncus is one of our native plants. It's native to almost all parts of at least the northern United States. And I have had so many of you asking for this plant. And so this year we are trialing 3 different varieties. Fairy hair is one of them. The ones that we are trialing are the dwarf varieties. So more in the 3-foot range versus 6-foot. But they have a very airy texture. It's very similar to an astilbe, but much easier to grow. And there's a lot of great characteristics about this plant. The deer don't eat it. Once it's established, it's very, very drought tolerant. Birds like it, pollinators like it, rabbits don't like it. We like it. So anyway, we appreciate the feedback in getting us to trial some of these, and you can look for that collection in a little bit. So I do this Corydalus crazy canarian, and I realize I don't really have notes on it. I think we're sold out, unfortunately, but gorgeous foliage on that, beautiful flowers, and we'll be looking at adding this into our production, and would love to hear some feedback from you on that plant. Snowy owl, this would be tender for most of us. We had this in our trial beds last year, and it was absolutely a standout. We had put it in with some Senecio, and just side by side, just the color of the foliage, really silvery. It has great texture. It has a very, very uniform habit. And again, it was a real standout for those that were looking at our trial boxes and expressing interest in it. This won an award at the Colorado State University at their annual trial program. This won their plant of the year. And we can roll our eyes and say, oh, well, that's Colorado. But what Colorado has is they have a lot of extremes. And so this plant held up really well within very broad temperature extremes. It had snow on it. It got hailed on, dry winds. So everything that was thrown at it, this plant shone through. So I think it has some good durability, and looking forward to offering that. Cordyline. We have a lot of cordyline, and cordyline Zumba was one that came to us last year as a substitute. And I don't recall which one it was for, but we're always in the search for the best pink cordyline. And we've done electric pink and pink passion, and Zumba we felt has really surprised us with its, it filled out well. It was, very vigorous, and the color is outstanding. So cordyline Zumba is one to remember. The Mimulus jelly bean series, we've added this into our production. And Mimulus, of course, is native into California. But like California, we have those very, very dry summers. And that is what this plant likes and really thrives in. Deer and rabbit resistant, we're always looking for those plants. It's attractive to hummingbirds and other pollinators. And it pairs really, really well with succulents. So if you have a succulent garden or a succulent container, but you need a splash of flower color, this would be a good thing to combine in your pots or in a rockery, just for that splash of color. There's a lot of different ones. I really like this Fiesta Marigold. There's some yellows. This one is a purpley pink one. So lots of mimulus to look at. And again, give us feedback. Cat's pajamas, a little catmint. And this is a proven winter varieties. It's much more compact than cat's meow. It blooms earlier and has a nice form. It does great in the landscape. Kind of a two-toned flower. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but it is it's a winner. We have a number of new salvias. Salvia Blue Hill is a very, very dark flower. It's adaptable to many different soil conditions, really easy to grow, not a lot of pests. Again, resistant to rabbits, to deer, and our friendly little pollinators love this. And again, it's just one of many new salvias that we have, including both perennial and some of the more tender salvias. Okay, this little series is pretty exciting. We're going to be the first in the United States to offer this series. If you're familiar with the Hugers, they are the world's premier hellebore breeders, and they also do other things. And this is one of them, this Saxifrage, the Dancing Pixie series. This was introduced in Europe last year and did very, very well. And if you look at the shape of the flower, I mean, it does kind of look like a little pixie that you can imagine dancing through a woodland garden. I think they're super cute. I apologize, I didn't list the names of the individual ones. I think there's Talia and Tessie, and they all seem to start with the letter T. There's a pink, a red, and a white. Sarah. So you'll find that they have different types of foliage as well. Some of it has variegated foliage, very, very profuse flowering, super cute in containers or along a woodland path. These can also be grown as a house plant. And while they prefer shade in the garden, a little bit more sun on the indoor will allow them to bloom. But super cute, just beautiful little flowers. And what new plant talk wouldn't be complete without talking about some hellebores. So the North Star series actually is one of Terra Nova's series, and Garnet is one of the newer offerings for this year with the double flower, that pickety edge. It's just really pretty. Of course, Terra Nova is down in Oregon, so it truly is a hellebore for our Northwest gardens. Dahlias, dahlias, dahlias. We do several different series of dahlias. In the past, we've done the Majestic series for late spring, really dark foliage, pretty flower color, but we're trialing a couple different ones. Happy Days is one of the series. This is Happy Days Neon. I love the color. What you don't see here is the foliage, which is very, very dark. And so it creates a nice backdrop, a nice contrast with other annual plantings. And we're just looking for something that is similar to the Majestic, again, with that dark foliage and dramatic flower color, but also something with better branching and more flowers. So Happy Days is one of the series. There's a number of colors within the series. And then this is the other series here. Again, just kind of looking for feedback from you, but we'll definitely be evaluating the growing of these. I think this series here tends to be a little bit more upright, but again, looking for sturdy foliage, that dark foliage, lots of flowers. If you visited us last year, you would have seen this in our trial beds, and this was another one that just really jumped out to anybody that was walking past. It's Helianthus Red Wave, so a sunflower, but look at that burgundy red flower. It is very dramatic. We love this. It only gets about waist high, so it's not going to be, overwhelming your yard, but very well branched, lots of flower colors. We have a couple other Helianthus, but this one really jumped out at me. And again, a lot of you that visited us last year. Coreopsis superstar. This has huge flowers, and when we went to some trials last summer, we saw this and fell in love with it. Very dramatic. It's super awesome. It's going to look great in a 2-gallon container. And just for an idea on the size of the flower, if you think about a normal Coreopsis being about the size of a quarter, or even, you know, slightly larger. But look at this. This is the hand that you see there is from a normal person, a normal sized person. And that flower is about as big as her palm. So again, very, very big flowers and dramatic color, and we love it. So back to dahlias. The dinner plate series is a popular program for us. Usually in July, we offer deco pots, which is like a 3-gallon equivalent with cactus types, with the dinner plate types. And we've added quite a number of new varieties to the collection. You can see these varieties online. We are offering these as an assortment this year. So when we ship, we're going to be sending you a great mix of the best colors that are in bloom at any one time. So there's a couple other ones, really pretty, just gorgeous. And these are always pleasing customers. You know, it's always a big draw in the garden centers. Delphinium, the Delgenius series. Last year we had these, a couple of them. We've added a couple new varieties. They all range in the purple, lavender, pink shades, but they have a double flower. But most importantly, these plants are genetically compact. So they're only going to get about 3 feet tall, very bushy, lots and lots, you know, it's multi-stem, so lots and lots of flower stalks that are very chunky. They don't need staking. They're very durable. So it was proven to us last year. This was a really good series, and we're excited to offer more this year. And we will also have these in our popular 2-gallon program, which is, these are really going to make a statement in the garden centers. Ito peonies. We've carried a couple of these in the past. We've added a couple new varieties with bringing in some new colors. This one is first arrival. And I assume you all know about Ito peonies. The Itos came from a horticulturist from Japan. It was named for him. And he has since passed away, but his breeding work continues. And what he's done is combined the qualities of both herbaceous and tree peonies to bring the best of each to the table. So, you know, the form, the flowers, the fragrance, everything, you know, he's taken again the best qualities of each and combined it into one plant. They're very versatile in the landscape, whether being used as a specimen. You can use them in mixed borders. I've heard of people even using them as a herbaceous hedge. Deer and rabbit resistant, they're great cut flowers. So we can't say enough about them. We really are happy to have a couple new varieties this year. They bloom for a long time. You know, you're going to have color for, you know, almost up to a month on these. So Itos are great. Salvias, I mentioned before, we showed the Numerosa Blue Hill. We also have some Gregii and some other varieties that we're happy to have this year. This is Amethyst Lips. We all know hot lips. This is a variety that has purple instead of red. So one of the things we always get asked about is when they first start blooming, it's a solid color, and that is totally normal. So it's solid at first, and then we get these blooms with the white tips to it. A hummingbird favorite. The same breeder that is working on these are also working on other colors. So I imagine we'll be seeing more lips in everybody's future. Thanks for laughing, April. Salvia pink palm. This is called a flowering machine. You can see just loads of flower on this. Again, a big hit with the hummingbirds. These plants, it's amazing how we can start with a little plant and suddenly they just get so big so fast. We're going to have these in 2-gallon pots and they are going to be fabulous. Another one is Salvia Rockin' Blue Suede Shoes. You're probably familiar with Rockin' Fuchsia. This is one that has a true, very soft blue flower, and saw these at trials last year. And again, it just really stood out. Very, very pretty, very full foliage, multi-branched, lots of flowers. They're quite vigorous. So you can start with a small plant and you're going to end up with something really powerful in the garden. They just bloom continuously. You don't have to deadhead them, and the hummingbirds love them. And I think your customers will too. So really happy about this color addition to the collection. Daphne Perfume Princess. This is a newer Daphne. It brings the best qualities of Daphne odora and Daphne beulah. Daphne beulah is very vigorous. Daphne odora, of course, has lots and lots of flowers and strong fragrance. There was a guy from New Zealand, and I want to say that he sort of forgot about this. He was doing some breeding and it kind of got tucked in the back of his garage, and then he found it and it's like, oh, well, let's see what this does. And he pulled it out and planted it up, and it's a real winner. Unlike Daphne odora and some of the earlier Daphnes that kind of scare off a lot of people, this one is easy to grow. We kind of call it one of those consumer Daphnes. Again, Daphne beulah brings a lot of qualities that makes it more adaptable and easier to succeed. So that'll be a great little addition. Very long blooming. It's one of the longest blooming Daphnes that we have to offer today. And I think we are almost wrapping it up. So a couple more things. Hydrangea Game Changer. This is a series. I'm showing the shell pink one. There's a blue, there's a pink, and I think a Picotee edge. They're all lace caps. They're game changers because they are a day neutral plant, and that's important for those of us in production. It means that the plants are going to be blooming earlier. They're not reliant on the light in order to set buds. And so we're pretty excited about this one. There are other hydrangeas that we've added, and our hydrangea program has been in the works for a number of years. We've been trialing a lot of varieties. We're still weeding through some of those, and our goal is to come up with a great program where you can bring in a 1-gallon or 2-gallon plant that is going to have great flowers, number of flowers. It's not a forced floral program. It's something, meant for the landscape. And I think this is going to be a nice addition to that collection. Clematis Cocono. Look at how pretty that is. So this is a sister plant to Clematis taiga, which we had last year. We're going to be growing it in an 8-inch pot with a little trellis. So it's super cute in terms of offering to your customers. This is the perfect plant for a small container, growing up an obelisk. Those double flowers are just really intricate and interesting. It was in Chelsea. I think it was one of the 2019 named to be one of their plants of the year. And we're excited to have that in our program. So that kind of does it for our slideshow. And you can see me now. Can you see Susie?
Yes.
So like I said, I could just go on and on and on about new plants. There's so many that we have. It was kind of hard to decide what to talk about. If you were to look at our availability list or at our catalog, you're going to see a lot of new plants. There was a little bit of a brief blurb at the end of our video showing how to do that. And I'm going to go over that again. And just know that there's seriously hundreds of new plants. And there's a lot of excitement. Our crews have been working weekends, planning plants, so we're going to have a lot to offer. Let's see if I can pull up. How do I get out of this? So I guess I want to now show you the website here. And all right, so can you see the website here?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to show you just some tips on our website. Here I'm logged in as kind of as the test garden center, but I'm actually going to log in and just show you real quick. We get an awful lot of questions from people. I don't know my password. I don't know how to log in. And right here on the login page, you can see forgot username, remind me, forgot the password, reset password. It's all super easy. To reset your password, you do need to know your username. To get your username, you're going to need to know what email you signed up on. Usually it's the email that you're using. You can call me or you can call us if you need some help with your account. But basically, if you were looking at an old invoice, you're going to see your customer number on that, which can again help you get your username. I'm going to log in real quick. There we go. So when you log in, the first thing that you see is the availability. If you click on this button up here, it says entire catalog. Guess what that gives you? It gives you the entire catalog. You can also see availability. We have a little leaf symbol which shows you the items that are available. The same information can be found just from our drop down. So if you click on this, you can scroll between the catalog or the availability list. And another thing, I know many of you like to print out a copy. You can do that over here. It says download availability PDF. You can do that by clicking right over here. I honestly discourage people from relying on this availability because it is basically a screenshot of one day of the week. It's typically done on Friday, and by Saturday, it's really out of date. Your best bet is to review the availability online. That is the most current, most up to date. Every time you submit an order and we import it into our server, our availability numbers get updated. Throughout the week, our inventory team is out in the fields, they're evaluating crops, and they're adding things on all the time. So that is always going to be your best bet, is looking at the availability online. So how do you find new plants? So it's very easy. Go to the search field, type new, hit enter, and there you go. If you look in the notes column here, all these where it says new, these are all new to us this year. So, you can just, okay, right now I'm looking at availability. There's a catalog. Look at that. It just goes on and on. So what do you want to know about? Now, something that you should know about our search feature is it's going to pick up anything that has new. So in this, you can see where this word has new in it. That's why it's not new in the new notes, but it's picking up new in that word. So basically, what this search feature does is it's going to pick up these, it's going to recognize these letters and then search for them within the botanical name, within the common name, or within the notes. So sometimes when you're typing, it's important to remember that less is more. But for what we're looking at right here, again, new is going to show all the new plants that we have to offer. You'll notice another button that says new this week, and that is a different thing. That is not necessarily just new plants in terms of our production, but what it means is these are plants that have just been added on to the availability. So if you were looking at available plants and you wanted to know, maybe you had already done an order earlier in the week and you're coming back to see, have we added anything else? Oh, Yeah, we have. So these items have been added, since yesterday. So it's important to go back and know what that new this week versus new in production is. So let's go to an order. So you can start an order by going up here to the toolbar where it says start a new order. You can also go to the ordering tab and again, start a new order. You can go to save drafts. Let's just start a new order. So here you have the option of pickup. You can click on delivery. If you've already placed an order, you can do an add-on either for delivery or for pickup. The PO is not necessary. That is only if it's necessary for you. You can add that in. We like to know who is placing an order. So if you make sure your name is filled in here, that way if we have any questions, we can contact you and go from there. So when you save and continue, the screen populates with an A through Z list of plants. And you can scroll through this and order at your heart's content. If you notice each thing, like where I put a 1 here, it multiplies by the increment. So you always know what order increment you need to pick. So for 4-inch plants, that's typically 18. For gallons, we ask that you order in multiples of 4. So in this case, if you want 8, you would put 2. It tells you right there. It also gives you, keeps a cart running down here. As you go through, again, you are welcome to scroll A through Z. My brain wants to order by category. So if I was ordering, I would probably choose something. Maybe I want to order, I'm looking just strictly at ground covers. I can click on that button. Maybe you are the shrub buyer, so you can click on shrubs. You also order vines, and maybe you order heathers. So you can click on those to kind of limit what you're looking at and go through. And again, order to your heart's content. Every time you order and hit enter, that item is saved. If you see it down here, it's saved, which means if you walk away from your computer and let's face it, you all get distracted. The phone rings, there's a customer, you walk away. Don't worry, your order is saved. And you can find it by going to the saved drafts. And you can see, oh gosh, there's a bunch of saved drafts. Here's the one that I was just working on. It shows the dates, shows when we're shipping, what week, where we're at dollar-wise. And then it shows these buttons over here on the right. The first one is allows you to alter the shipping screen. This one allows you to add or edit items. In this case, I did this and I'm like, I'm going to start it. I don't even want that. I can go ahead and delete it. If you don't delete it, it's no worries. After 21 days, it'll go away automatically. But let's take a look. If I just click on this, I'm kind of given a reminder right here of what items I was working on. I can then go back and to the add and edit screen and continue placing my order. But let's say, for example, I'm done. Hit the review, edit, submit button, and it pulls up the items right handy for you. At this point, you can adjust your retails and then finally hit submit. You can go back and forth between the plant list and the edit as often as you want. And just to kind of go back and review some of the search features that we have all of these buttons. I kind of explained a little bit on the types, but you can also, again, select different categories. You can select sizes if you want. You don't have to select any of these. You're still going to see the list. If you want to search for something in particular, you can type it into the search plants field. Again, looking for botanical name, common name, or anything in the notes. The words, the letters that you type in this field will populate the list below. And again, sometimes less is more. I think about Wilma cypress. And do you want to type out the genus, the species, the cultivar? That gets very complicated. And chances are you're probably going to misspell it or add a species where we don't have a species, or you don't add it when we do have it. So do what's easiest. Wilma is easier to spell than cupressus. So if I type Wilma, it shows Wilma in the screen, those plants. Does that make sense? I'm hoping people are asking questions or thinking about this. Another example, right now, we could certainly scroll down and see actinidia, which is kiwi. So we could search just by starting to type the name, ACT. It brings up actinidia. Click what on? I don't know what I just did, but okay, sorry about that. I could also search by typing in kiwi. And there, it gives the same list. It also gives Aeonium kiwi, which is a succulent, but it has kiwi in the name. One of my favorite things to do, we do have a tab for blooming. And when you click on that, when you're putting together an order, this is really nice because it shows you what is going to have the most impact for you in this current order cycle. But if you want to know what's coming on, a favorite thing for me to type in is bud. So you can type in bud, and anything that has the word bud, again, in the botanical name, common name, or more importantly, here in the notes, is going to show up on the list and make it easier for you to order. So I hope that helps clear things up. The advanced search, this is really nice if you have a customer coming in that's looking, perhaps she's looking for a specific clematis that has a pink flower. You know, you can type in clematis, click pink, and see what is available. So there's many ways that you can use this. Again, you can press as many of these buttons as you want. Obviously, the fewer you click, the more limited your list is. And then be sure and clear your search in between. Do we have any questions?
Well, we don't have any question on the website because I think you did an awesome job showing us everything around. It's really good. We did have a question earlier when you were going through the slideshow, Carolyn, and I think it was particularly when you talked about the one item that was sold out. And the question was, can the members pre-book?
Well, I think that was the Corydalus canary. Yeah. Okay. That I don't think that you would be able to pre-book because I don't know when we were going to have that again. That we brought in kind of as a trial, so we had small numbers and it flew out pretty quickly. Now, having said that, what I would suggest is you talk to your sales rep and let them know that that's a plant that you're interested in. That helps us, especially with trial plants. If we know there's interest, that helps us make the decision. This is a plant we need to carry. This is something we need to put into our production plan. And that sales rep can also kind of guide you as far as when we might have that again, and if there is an opportunity to pre-book.
Okay. And are you going to be having your 2021 trial gardens this year?
We have trials going all the time.
Okay.
This is something that we do, 12 months of the year. So our inventory team administers this. And I actually saw Gina last week. She was out there planting new plants into our trial beds. Now we conduct trials in a number of different ways. So we do have some trial boxes that we have up front. There's about 10 of them, I believe. And you are welcome to come by and take a look and give us feedback any time. We have open production, so you are, of course, welcome to come to the nursery and view that. Additionally, some of our trial plant, we don't have room to plant every individual. A lot of our trials are simply done in the fields. So a lot of our trial plants are out in our production fields growing, where we can compare them side by side in the production setting. We also have some gardens. There's a small display garden right up front by our sales office, and there are more out back where we can grow plants. Again, last year we did leucanthemums. So if you came in and you parked your car right in front of you, there was what, 30, 40 different varieties right in front of you. So again, we could see side by side, you know, how are these plants growing? What is the flowering habit? All of those things.
Nice.
So yes,
Good.
trials all the time.
Yeah, and there's a comment that your website is super easy to order, and the comment is, would love you to add more tropicals to what you grow.
Okay, well, we are working on that.
Okay.
So, and even, you know, some of the things that I didn't show today, of course, the succulents we talked about, but this year we're going to have freesias, which I'm super excited about. So there's, check out that new feature, you know, type in new in that search field for the catalog and take a look. You can sort by tropicals. Hopefully next fall, do I dare say anything about house plants next fall, hopefully. So we're always looking for new things, and we're always looking for the feedback. So anything that you can tell us, good or bad, we want to hear. I do appreciate the words about the website. We are very, very proud of it. And at the same time, we're still working on ways to make it better and easier. So if you have any questions on that, on just some quick tips, we're happy to show you. One of the things I didn't get into today was pre-pricing. I know many of you do pre-pricing with us, and if anyone has any questions, I can dive into that, or are there other questions? Anything anybody has?
Nope, don't see any other questions.
Okay, well, I guess thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And we look forward to selling you lots of plants this spring.